Hello, Theramin Trees. In your video, A Private Religious Experience, you made 2 points, and I would like to add a little grain of sugar to them. The first point was based on what was a safe conclusion and how a conclusion reached using previously gathered data about a particular event could allow us to understand the world in a way that was sound and solid enough to serve as support for our logical actions. On the other hand, conclusions that were arrived using internal or extrasensorial information could not be counted as valid because that type of data could not be relied on. And it was better to leave the door open for other information to arrive at a later day to explain it in a way that could pass the test of the scientific method. Since to me, you are in the process of throwing data away. My question here is the following. Are you saying that the conclusions that one reaches using the scientific method are solid and should not be revised? Should those conclusions be given as valid? Is the door to learning then closed? And if not, what is the difference? Why should people, or you, not reach conclusions that are only temporary anyways? After all, when we reach a conclusion, it's because we need to explain what's going on around us. The conclusions are part of the model that we have of the universe. But the model is always a simplified version of reality. The same way that we have to reach conclusions that are as sound as possible, the method that you describe as appropriate is also a partial explanation of how you reach conclusions. It's only partial. And I know this because you're a creative person. And not all your creations are born out of conclusions that are sound. The creative thought has to be free to experiment with what-ifs and with the magic and with the emotion. And that thought, my dear Theramin Trees, is so important that you define yourself by it. And this brings me to a second point, and please allow me to take the roundabout way. I will think that you are aware that not all that occurs in the universe is matter. True, our 5 senses bring us information about the world full of matter, yes. But we can also feel our thoughts as well. And not only our thoughts, we also present the thinking going on in other people's heads. Now, I know, you know that although thought is intrinsically mixed with matter, in itself it is not matter. Here lies the entrance to a world that science has chosen to ignore. I am talking about the subjective universe. It appears to me, although you have not said so, that you believe that the imaginary is less real than the physical. Very well, it is your choice. But today we are receiving news from quantum physics and from biogeneric experiments telling us that the thought has the power to produce the reality. However, many people feel themselves trapped in the old paradigm of the scientific method because the conclusions that they reach following the scientific method were sound conclusions, never to be modified. When I was an atheist, I found very convenient for the believers and for God to say, in order to see, you have to believe. In order to believe, you have to believe. I just couldn't find that valid. I just couldn't find that valid. It was, I thought, a catch-22. But I have sad news to tell you. It is actually the way the system of perception works. Your conclusions are filters of reality that limit what you're able to see. If you do not have the mental structures which are made with concepts, you cannot accept the data, and thus you just don't see it. So, is it a leap of faith what is needed to be taken in order to see the rest of the picture? We don't have to be so dramatic on our thinking. We are not leaping anywhere, and we can always change our thoughts back anyways. Believe it sometimes. Accept the thought for what a period of time. Accept these probabilities. What are you afraid of? And that way you will really have an open mind. It will be open to new visions and an infinite number of probabilities. Only after accepting the probability will you know what the other things that you cannot see from here are all about. Those things that your conclusions are filtering. And now, to the meat of the video. Private religious experience. Must they be private? Yes, they must be private because the connection with the collective consciousness has to be made through your consciousness, through your mind. And there lies the entrance to the transcendence that, if you so choose, can remain closed the rest of your life. This experience belongs to a subjective reality, but just because it's purely subjective does not lose its reality. The individual is in charge of providing itself with the map of what its reality is. And no matter what method it uses, it is always subjective. Everything happens for a reason. You know that. But is it not amazing that each moment is the result of an infinite number of reasons and decisions? Moment after moment. They are like the gears that turn inside the great unity that is the universe. And you are swimming in this sea of decisions. And you're able to make your own that can influence the outcome of the moments that follow for you. Pure magic, as I see it. The universe always responds. Have a good day. Peace and harmony to you, my friend. Do have a good day.